In this video, we're going to discuss stress and our health. We'll talk about how the brain and the immune system interact, differentiating between the lymphatic and the glymphatic system, and then how this relates to that exhaustion stage of the general adaptation syndrome. Now, as we move into talking about stress and health, we need to define a few things. So the immune system are the cells that protect the body against viruses and bacteria. And here are some of the cells that are part of the immune system. Now, we're not going to differentiate between these. This is an introduction to psychobiology. You can take another course if you want to, learn all the ins and outs of the immune system. But I just want you to be aware that there are different types of cells, and that not only is the immune system activated by viruses and bacteria, but that stress can also activate the immune system, and that's why we're talking about it here. So the immune cells are stored and delivered by the lymphatic system. So this lymphatic system that you see here in this image, all of these vessels here that go all over to various parts of our body, the lymphatic system are organs, tissues, and vessels that produce the lymphocytes, those cells of the immune system, and help these cells move around to again go to wherever those bacteria or viruses may be. So the lymphatic system serves as a transportation network for these lymphocytes, allowing them again to travel to various parts of the body. These coordinated movements of the lymphocytes is essential for mounting an effective immune response against these pathogens. So what happens during times of stress? What happens to the immune system when we encounter a stressful experience? Well, that HPA, that hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, is going to activate the immune system, just like it does when a virus or a bacterium invades. At first, this is going to be okay. But without a bacteria or a virus to identify, inflammation can occur. So we have this inflammatory process. As part of this inflammatory process, cytokines are released. These cytokines are important in the immune response, but over time they can cause more inflammation. And they also communicate with the brain. So this increase of cytokines can lead to fever, sleepiness, reduced energy, just as occurs when a virus invades. So maybe you've encountered at some point in your life a prolonged stressor and you start to feel sick. Now, it might not be that you're actually sick, but that the stress itself is causing the symptoms. So again, these are also similar to symptoms that we see in depression, and there's an increase in cytokines in people that have a diagnosis of depression. So this inflammation can cause damage to the lymphatic system. And when that lymphatic system becomes damaged, that starts the exhaustion stage. So this is when the cytokines start to communicate with the brain. They trigger the hypothalamus, as we were saying on the previous slide, to induce fever, sleepiness, a lack of energy. And then they also communicate with the hippocampus, causing memory impairment. So again, you think about sometimes when you're under a lot of stress, not only do you feel a lack of energy, maybe you even feel symptoms of an illness, but your memory is not quite working the same. It's not working as efficiently as it should. Now, up until 2013, we didn't think these lymphatic vessels could be found in the brain. But using new technology, researchers found and determined that the brain is directly connected to the immune system by vessels that we previously didn't think to exist. And after a few more years of research, these vessels were termed the glymphatic system because they seem to work with glia in the brain to clear waste. And we talked about this a little bit in sleep, that they clear that waste when we're sleeping, mainly during the deep sleep that we have. And that's why deep sleep, that stage 3 sleep, is so important.